ago, and Mel Franklin is now here, and just acknowledge, not that he's been here for 40 years, but Mel Franklin is here in council. 40 years ago, there was an attempt made by certain countries to impose a boycott against Israel. The United States Congress passed the anti-boycott issue and make it illegal for American companies to participate in a foreign sanctioned boycott. My legislation amends that statute to apply to international organizations, because there's now an effort, American companies have gotten letters from the United Nations Human Rights Council requesting information as to whether they do business with Israel for the purposes of developing a boycott list of those companies not being eligible for business. The legislation is to protect American companies from participating in that, because some would, some would not, and if you don't participate, you go on the blacklist. So the bill outlaws American companies from responding to that request. There was some confusion on the bill. I thought the bill was drafted right. We have revised the bill, so we just tell our friends that. We have made it clear that we're not going to deal with anything to deal with speech. If you want to criticize Israel, criticize Palestinians, if you want to boycott Israel yourself, go ahead and do it. If you want to boycott the Palestinians, do it. If you want to encourage companies to do it, you can do that. And we made it clear in the bill that that is not prohibited by what we're talking about. We've also made it clear that we're only talking about monetary penalties, not any prison sentences, which was a concern. That's been taken out of the bill, so it's very, very clear as to what we're talking about. There's been other changes made that have been suggested to clarify. We do not take a position on the settlement issue as it relates to the Palestinians and the Israelis. I personally believe settlements are not helpful to resolving the solution of a two-state settlement, two-state solution. Ultimately, the only way that you got peace between the Palestinians and the Israelis are two states living side by side in peace, a Jewish state and a Palestinian state, something that I strongly support and work very hard to do. And the settlements are not helpful. So I thought I could get that on the table. And again, I hope we can get into a discussion on the tax issue, because it's a very timely issue. As I have told Delegate Jazz Lewis, who's also here. There he is. And Delegate Eric Farron is here. Thank you. I would prefer, and I know we're going to get a question on BDS, I would prefer if we could take the tax issues and gun issues, but let me get one question out on, I'm certain it's BDS, and then we'll get back to taxes and guns.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you, Senator. Thank you, Senator. Unfortunately, your explanation was completely disingenuous. What you talked about 40 years ago, the coercive rules from foreign countries were mandatory restrictions on U.S. companies. You are not allowed to do business in our country if you do business in Israel. You know very well that the list that the UNHCR is putting together is not mandatory in any way. It has no enforcement. It's just a list they're going to put on their website. Yet, you are also misrepresenting this as, we're going to ask you questions about your business with Israel. That's not true. What it is about, do you operate in the illegal Israeli settlements, which you claim to oppose, but then you do everything in your power to enable. All right? This is not honest. This is not just. You claim you're against the settlements, which are international war crimes, yet you do everything in your power. This bill, let me tell you, if I want to boycott Israel, or if I don't want to boycott Israel, if I want to boycott the settlements, or if a company wants to boycott the settlements, Ben Cardin should not try and attack that right of free speech. All right? That's what he's doing. That's what he continues to do. And he tries to, well, we're going to take out the criminal penalties. Yeah, but he's still going to fine companies big money for opposing something which is against international law. You should stop doing this. You were one of the 4 Democrats who opposed President Obama's deal with Iran. Nobody has challenged you on that. You should get challenged on that. You should get challenged for this. Listen, this is America. We have the U.S. Constitution. You need to read the U.S. Constitution and follow it, and not try and elevate the interests of illegal conduct by Israel over American constitutional rights.
Well, I appreciate.
Isn't that so?
I appreciate.
Hey, thank you.
I feel very strongly to allow people to express their views. I say one thing though, everyone's entitled to their own views, you're not entitled to your own set of facts. And I would just urge you, and anyone who's interested in this, read the bills that we're talking about. There is absolutely nothing in this bill that would prevent an American company or an American individual to do anything that company wants to do or that individual wants to do to express their views, including boycotting any country in the world, including Israel. You can do that. It's legal. Nothing in this bill would stop you from either doing that or expressing your views on that.
That's not what the ACLU says.
It's not, the ACLU has been part of our discussions.
Thank you, Senator Cardin. It's great to see you here.